Check 1 2. Well, welcome everybody. It is so good to see you guys here today. Is it good to be here? Okay, there's a little bit of energy. My name is Dan Wolf. I am the executive pastor here, and it is so exciting to be able to see all of these couples here today. You guys are in for a special treat, but I'm going to give you guys a couple of pieces of information. First, do not open up your packets yet. They gave a specific, I'm speaking to you. And where's Barry? Barry? Yep, good job, Barry. Good job, we're glad. So make sure you do that. Secondly, each couple should have gotten a ticket. If you got a ticket, that's for a kind of a door prize. We had a local organization give some door prizes. They just want to bless you as couples, so they're going to be able to win some of those things. Are you going to share with us later what those specifically are? Is it a surprise up until then? It'll be a surprise. So we'll have that. So I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm going to start with a word of prayer, and I'm going to share a little bit about David and Victoria as they're going to be coming up here in just a moment. But let's pray together, okay? God, we just want to thank you. We thank you for being able to assemble here together. We thank you for every single marriage that is represented here. And for those that are exploring marriage or they're newly engaged, God, I pray for every single one of us that as we have taken time out of our schedules to be here to learn, most importantly today, God, I pray that we will recognize the importance of our relationship with you and how we love our spouse. God, I just pray that today will be a day of learning with application, that things that we learn today, that we will be able to go home tonight to be able to apply. We just love you, God. We surrender this time to you, and we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, I have recently gotten to know David and Victoria, and I am so thankful for what God has done in and through them in their marriage. And as we all know in this room that our marriages are not perfect, none of our marriages are perfect, but there are some things and some tools and things that you're going to learn today that you'll be able to apply to whether you've been married for 30 years, 50 years, or 3 months, or you're engaged or exploring the opportunity of being able to get married. Regardless, you are going to be able to apply some of the things you're going to learn today. And so I'm going to have David and Victoria to come on up here. They have such a heart for marriage and for couples. And you're going to hear their passion and their desire to fully be transparent with you, to share part of their life with you, actually to talk about things that have been awesome in their marriage and things that may not have gone so well, and tools that they have found that has helped them to find success in their marriage. And our hope is that you will be able to walk out of here, like I said, with some tools for your own marriage. And so if you guys would do us a favor, give them a round of applause and tell them thank you for being here today. David, Victoria.
We're so glad you're here. I want to share something that's really important with you right out of the gate, and then Victoria's going to introduce who we are. There's a couple things about tonight you need to know. Some of you have awesome marriages. Some of you might be hanging on by a thread. Some of you might not even be married yet, and you're thinking, what am I doing here? We all have baggage. If you have a good marriage, we want to take you to a great marriage. If you've got a marriage that's hanging on by a thread, we want to get you here. Tonight, you're going to walk out. I promise you this. If you will open your heart and let the Lord work, you're going to walk away a better human being. You're going to walk away a better husband or a better wife. Here's what I need you to do. This is a group participation activity tonight. I'm going to ask you for a few things. We want to help you, but I need you to assist me. First of all, if you came in with any baggage, we have a place for that. It's out in the parking lot. We've all got baggage. I've got baggage. She's got baggage. You know what? Right out there in the parking lot, if you leave your baggage out there, if you want to pick it up on the way home, it'll still be there. In here, don't bring your baggage. If you could do that in your spirit, in your mind, leave your baggage out there. Open your heart. That's the first thing. Second thing, we're going to ask you to do some group participation. The first half of this evening, I'm going to need you to do some things. I'm going to need some feedback, all right? And then the second half of the evening, we're going to do a little bit more learning, a little bit more training. There's 2 parts to this. You're going to learn a lot about you, and you're going to learn a lot about each other. All right? Can you all do that for me? Can I see some nodding heads? Are you willing to do that? Good. Even if you just give me a little bit, I promise you, you'll walk away a better person.
So our names are David and Victoria Glass. We were in this community for almost 40 years, and God called us down to Texas, and we've been down there almost 6 years now. And we get to come back every year, and we are so grateful to have the opportunity to really share what God has placed on our heart. We've been doing marriage ministry for almost 29 years, and this material is some of the best material we've ever seen. We have seen marriages that literally had divorce paperwork on the table, and their marriages were saved and given hope and are still together today. And so know that no matter where you are, there is hope, because God is the God of hope. So this is my amazing husband that God brought me, and the first night we went out, I knew we'd get married. And 4 days later, he knew. He said guys are a little slower in those things, but they make up for it in the barbecue department, which really helps, right? And 9 days later, he proposed. 7 months later, we got married, and we will celebrate 29 years this November. And let me tell you, I had kissed a bunch of toads before I finally said, okay, God, I'm going to submit. You pick him for me. And he answered every prayer that I could ever want in a husband. And if you're not married yet, he's out there, and or she's out there. And if you are married, you have children that are getting married, pray for your future, your kids' future spouses. It's really important. Our son's 24, and we're praying. Since he was born, we've been praying for his spouse, which is really cool. So this is our son, Alex. He is currently he's deployed in Iraq. He is a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. And just today, he moved from the co-pilot seat to the captain's seat. And if we were half as mature at his age, we would have been so much further along. This young man has his head on straight. It's absolutely amazing. And we are very grateful to be his parent. And we wanted more children, but this was the one that God blessed us with. And our company today is called Relationship Growth Academy, and it is all about building relationships and growing together. And so we want to help you in that process. So thank you for allowing us to be here.
So I brought up this slide to show you something. This evening, you have been prayed into this. This is our home church in Austin, Texas. We're originally from the Valley here, but we moved down to Texas 6 years ago to be closer to our son. We had some opportunities down there, and we found a beautiful church called City Reach Church. The heart of the church is to reach the lost. And I have shared with our men's group, we are part in leadership there at the church, not on church staff, but in the volunteer leadership. And in our service, we pray about very specific things. This was the end of our third service on that Sunday. I just happened to be sitting in front row, and when all heads were bowed, all eyes were closed, I brought my camera up and I just took a picture backwards. People in that congregation, I would venture to say there is easily over 100 people praying for tonight. They've been praying for you. So just know you were prayed into this room tonight. Now, Victoria mentioned a couple of things. She said that when we met, she knew the first night, all right? And it took me 4 days to realize this is the woman I'm going to marry, and then 9 days after we met, I proposed to her. That's a real story, by the way. That really happened. And I do not recommend that to everyone. There is a whole history behind that. If you knew this ding-dong back then, I'll tell you what, you dads out there, you would have looked at me and said, that dude is not husband material, and you would have kept your daughters away from me. I'm just being completely transparent, all right? I had a lot of growing up to do. I didn't get married until I was 30 years old. Thank you, Jesus. Because had I gotten married before that, it would have been a disaster. And I'm going to loop back to what I said a little while ago. If you're hanging on by a thread, there is hope. There was hope for me. And I'm going to prove it by a picture. You think, oh, wow, look at that handsome couple up there. Well, look at that goober there. Look at that. I got a lot less of this, but I got more of this. Look at that ponytail. What? I got a ponytail in that picture. Look closely. Yeah, I got a ponytail. So, all right. That's enough about us. So I want to get into this because we believe we are better together.
Yes.
The Lord did not make us to walk through this life alone. In fact, for those of you who feel you are alone, and ladies, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. A lot of men feel like we're alone. Just being real with you, all right? They may not say that, but there's an epidemic of men who feel alone. I had the privilege today of spending some time with Pastor Dan and Pastor Randy, and I let them know that when I'm visiting with a man and getting to know him, once we've developed a little bit of relational capital, I'll ask him this question. I'll say, so tell me, when life gives you a sucker punch at 2:30 in the morning, when you face a real crisis, how many men's phone numbers do you have in your phone right now of dudes you could call? What do you think the most common answer is that I get? What was it? None. 0. None. Most men, I would venture to say, 4 out of 5 men, they don't have anybody to call. There's an epidemic of loneliness in our culture today. Well, we're going to put a stop to that tonight. All right, we're going to put a stake in the ground so deep that hell gets a point that we are making a difference. We're making a difference in our lives and in our marriages. And what that will do is that's going to impact our children, our homes, our nation, and our future. We're going to leave a legacy because we want to change. If this dude can change, if this ding-dong can change, I assure you, you can too. So I promised you this is going to be a participatory activity. If you are married, not engaged, not single, if you are married, would you mind standing up for just a moment, please? Congratulations. You have entered into the very first institution God created for man. Very good. If you've been married less than 10 years, please sit down. There you go. Look around you. Do you know, I read this when I was a teenager many decades ago, that if you get through the first 10 years of marriage, typically that first 10 years of marriage is the most challenging. So those of you who aren't married, or maybe those of you that are married less than 10 years, see if you can get to this point. Usually, that's the hump, all right? Now, if you've been married less than 20 years, please sit down. These are mature marriages. They've seen a few things. They've gone through some life together, right? They've had some experiences. Chances are many of them have children. Some of them are children that are grown, all right? There's some wisdom in this group with marriage. If you've been married less than 30 years, please sit down. These are mature marriages. These are the marriages that you can look at and say, what can I learn from you? Victoria just shared with you, we're going to celebrate 29 years of marriage this year. I like couples like this. I love visiting with them because I ask them, what advice would you have for a man who's only been married 29 years? What can I learn from you? For real, I love having those conversations. All right, if you've been married less than 40 years, sit down. Now, those of you who are still standing, I know you're probably getting tired and you're going to need a break here, right? All right. All right. I appreciate you. You are setting an example for our community. In today's society, a fast-paced scroll left, scroll right, on to the next news article, 6-second sound bites, we need you. We need you more than ever. Thank you for persevering. Thank you for showing us what legacy looks like. If you've been married 50 years or less, sit down. Give these 3 couples a hand. Stay standing, just a moment. Stay standing. Please tell me your name, how long you've been married, and one piece of advice you might share with us about marriage.
My name is Barry Woods. I've been married to Jane. It'll be 54 years, the 2nd of October. And my word of advice is make sure you have that third unbreakable cord in your marriage. And we had some mentors that held us accountable for that. And that was a big part of our stick-to-itiveness.
You want me to answer the same thing?
If you have any piece of advice you'd like to share, please.
Well, I'm Jane, and I've also been married for 54 years. And number one, I would share his advice, because when the going gets tough, the word says that God hates divorce. And I took that very seriously when things got really rough. And don't take your partner so seriously all the time that you can't laugh with him.
That's great advice. Thank you. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. All right. We have another couple over here. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, and what would you share with us?
We're Chuck and Linda Ream. We've been married 59 years. In terms of advice, I mean, we've always been committed to each other, committed to the vows that we took 59 years ago, and, you know, our marriage has been wonderful. So.
Just want to say there's no shortcuts to a good marriage. It takes a lot of commitment on both sides.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much. 59 years. That's remarkable. All right. Over here. Go ahead. Introduce yourself, sir.
I get stage fright. Let her do the talk.
Lawrence and Kathleen Weilacker. We've been married 58 years.
Thank you. And what advice would you have for us?
If you can't marry one another with a covenant with God, you probably won't make it. It's a covenant between you and your partner and God. And bear all things with patience and love. God can get you through anything, and it doesn't mean you're always going to like the person you're married to. But God loves them, and he expects you to hang in there.
Very good. Thank you. Give them a hand. Give these couples a hand.
And I want to commend you. You have 3 couples here that have been married more than 50 years, and they're here learning. If you can keep that attitude throughout your entire marriage, whether you aren't married yet or 59 years married, and you keep learning, you're going to continue to increase and make your marriage better. I'm so proud of all of you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. If you listened closely, you were quoting Ecclesiastes 4:12. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. I know that because it was our marriage verse. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. Look it up when you have time. And building things takes legacy. You want to build anything of greatness, it takes time and consistency. Thank you. And absolutely, the Lord needs to be the focal point of your marriage. We'd spend a lot of time talking about those things, but we're going to move on. All right. There's something called IQ. Does anyone know what IQ stands for? It stands for intelligence quotient. It's how smart you are. They give you an IQ test. If you have an IQ of, in the hundreds, well, you're a pretty smart fella. If you're a little less than that, maybe not so much. But they say that your IQ does not necessarily change much from the time you're born all through life and until the time you die. If you have a high IQ as a 5-year-old, chances are as a 55-year-old, your IQ will be about the same when you take those tests. So they have also done studies to find out who is successful in life. How is success determined? People that kind of make it. They're firing on all cylinders. Did you know that success is not tied to IQ? I want you to think back when you were a child. Think about those really smart kids in your class. Some of them probably didn't achieve much success in life. All right? IQ is not necessarily tied to success. But one thing they have found that is tied to success is EQ, emotional quotient, and something else called PQ, which is personality quotient. We're going to be talking about that last one tonight, PQ. We're going to talk about your PQ. And here's what your PQ is. There's 4 components. We're going to talk about the first 2 tonight. The first component is, who am I and how do I work? How do I operate? Why do I do what I do? Understanding your personality. The second component of that is, who are you and why do you do what you do? Why did she respond that way? That's not what I said. Has anybody ever thought that? Yeah, everybody in the room, right? What did she do now? How do you not know how to do that, right? My personality is different than her personality. And I'm just telling you, for as many times as I've said that about her, there's probably 3 times she's said it about me, but I probably said it out loud 3 times more than she has. She is much better at holding her tongue with me than I am with her, all right? We're going to learn about that. We're going to learn about those first 2 things, who we are and who you are and how we work together. Now, the third and fourth components of PQ, which we're not going to spend much time on, but you will see how they relate, is how do we take that knowledge of who we are, who you are, and apply it to who you are? How do I apply that to you if I've just met you? Spending time with you, how do I apply that? How do I get to know you? That's the third component. And then the fourth component is, how do you build that into a legacy? How do you build teams? How do you build longevity? How do you build community being equipped with that kind of knowledge? So that's what we're going to do. So here's what I'd like to do. I want you to imagine that we go to lunch together. You and I sit down, we're having a conversation. Maybe we met here at church. Maybe we have a business deal going. Maybe you're new to the community. I'm just getting to know you. Maybe I'm new and you invite me to lunch. And we're getting to know each other, and we sit down and we're just having casual conversation. Where are you from? How long have you been here in the valley? What do you do? Oh, you're in sales, or you work in computers. Great. Well, how many kids do you have? Oh, great. How long have you been married? We're having conversation, having a cup of coffee, having lunch. And maybe there comes a point where I want to ask you a question, and I've developed a little bit of that relational capital so I can ask this question. I wouldn't come right out of the gate with this, but I'd say to you something like, so let me ask you a question. Would you consider yourself more of like an outgoing person, or would you consider yourself more reserved? And you would probably say, well, gosh, David, I have both those traits. I guess it depends on the circumstance I'm in and, what I'm doing and where I am and who I'm with. I think I have a little bit of both of those traits. And I'd say, yeah, of course you do. Yeah, I think we all do, yeah. But if I had to ask you to pick one, maybe it's just 51% and 49%. Listen, you're not locked in. You can change your mind. Tonight, after this conference, I'm just telling you, if you have something in mind right now, you can walk out those doors, change your mind tonight, and that's quite all right. But if I said, if you had to pick just one, 51%, 49%, would you consider yourself more outgoing or more of a reserved person? How many would raise their hand and say, I think I'm more outgoing? Can I see a show of hands? All right, good. You put your hands down. How many of you would say, well, you know what? I think I'm more the reserved type. Can I see a show of hands? All right, look at that. Okay, you can put your hands down. Thank you. Now, from
our perspective, the outgoing people did more of this,
yeah,
and the
I'm
reserved
outgoing.
people did more of this.
That's kind of what we're seeing from up here, right? All right, that's okay. That's all right. That's kind of the personality. Again, you're not locked in. Listen, we're not trying to pigeonhole you, put you in a box, categorize you, label you. We're just looking for a starting point. Remember, just having coffee, I'm just getting to know you. All right, so you say, well, you know what? I think I'm more this kind of person. All right, so we're going to do a little group participation. Let's everybody stand up. This is everybody now. This is everybody. All right, for all of those of you who raised your hand and said, you know what? I think I'm more outgoing. I belong to that outgoing. I want you to come to the front of the room. Come, walk down here.
Come right up here.
Yep, come towards the stage. Yep, all right. And for those of you who said, you know what, I think I'm a little more reserved, I'd like you to just take a step towards the back of the room, if you would, please. Go ahead and just step to the back. You leave your table. Nobody's going to take your stuff. So we'll have kind of a dividing line right down the middle here. Yeah, okay, all right. Now, hey, did you all notice something? Did you all notice something? They all came down here and they're talking, they're laughing, they're visiting, they're giving each other high fives and hugs, right? This is the loud, kind of boisterous group. Did you all notice something? They went to the back of the room over here and they stood, hands crossed. Like, okay, what are we doing next? What are we doing next? Right? All right? These are the rabble-rousers over here, right? Okay. So we've got all these folks. This is what we would consider our outgoing group and our reserve group. Now listen, I know. You're looking over here and going, well, you know what, David, listen, sometimes I'm outgoing. I know that. I know there's certain circumstances where you're very outgoing. And maybe you're looking over here going, well, you know, David, there's plenty of circumstances when I'm doing this, I'm very reserved. We know. Again, just a starting point. Just roll with me. When you leave here tonight, you can change your answer. It's quite all right, okay? All right, so again, we're having lunch, and I've asked you one question. Are you more outgoing, you more reserved? So I know a little bit about you. And then I ask you a second question. Say, okay, well, listen, would you consider yourself more of like a people person, or do you feel you're more task-oriented? And again, you'd probably say, well, you know, it would depend on the circumstance, I guess. I say, you know what, you're right, it really would. But, you know, if you had to choose one of those two categories, just for right now, it might be, again, 51%, 49%. If you're more of a people person, let me see your hand. If you think you belong more in the people group, you like people, you like to relate, that kind of thing. All right, okay, great. All right, put your hand down. Now, if you're more of a task-oriented person, you like lists. You like getting things done. You like checking things off. You have a to-do list. You probably got it in your back pocket right now. You want to write some things down, right? If you're more of a task-oriented person, go ahead and raise your hand. Okay, all right, fair enough. All right. Well, here's what I'd like to do now. If you are a people person, if you raised your hand on the people person, I'd like you to move to this side of the room. Move down here. You got to stay on your side over there, but we're going to move down to this corner. If you raised your hand and said, I'm a task-oriented person, I want you to move. If you're a task-oriented person, you're going to move down there. All right? More of a task-oriented person. All right. So stay on this side over here. Stay. We're going to keep this dividing line right down here in the middle. So, sir, could you move this way a little bit? Move this way. You're in this group, and you're over here, right? That's good. No. You're awesome. You're awesome. Okay, good. And I need this dividing line right in the middle. Remember, I need a line here. So more you reserved people person over here. There we go. Good. These are the outgoing people. Yep. The more reserved people. Okay. So, all right. So I've only asked you two questions. I said, would you consider yourself more outgoing or more reserved? And then I asked you, would you consider yourself more of a people person or more of a task person? Now, here's the difference, by the way, of a task person versus people person. Task person is laying in bed at the end of the day and they're thinking to themselves, well, I got this done. I also got this done. Oh, I forgot to do this. And you reach over in your pajamas and you pull out your to-do list. You make a little note, right? Whereas the people, they lay in bed at night and they think, well, gosh, I got to see Randy today. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking to Dan. Got to spend some time with Shelby. I get to meet this couple, Dave and Victoria, tonight. I'm so excited. I'm fired up to meet them. I really want to talk to them. They're doing this marriage thing. That's what people person is thinking about. There's no right or wrong, by the way. We need each other. We are better together. Right? And again, this is just a starting point. Now, you might be thinking, you know, Dave, you cannot divide everybody into 4 groups and know all about them. And actually, yes, I can. I just did. As a matter of fact, I know all about you. I can tell you all about you right now from those 2 questions. And you think, you cannot possibly do that. Listen, I can divide people into groups and know a lot about them. You don't think I can do that? Well, how about this? I can divide everybody into 2 groups and know a lot about them, male and female. There's 2 groups for you. But let's put it to the test, all right? We're going to put it to the test. Let's see how accurate I am on this, okay? Remember, these are the people. These are the task-oriented people. So over here, I have what's called the dominant group who are people-oriented and task-oriented. And these folks right over here, we call them the dominant group. You call them the driven group if you don't feel that dominant is the right word, but they are very driven. This is how they think. Be a leader, be a follower, or get out of my way. I got places to go, people to see, things to do. This group right here, when they left home, it was the greatest day of their parents' life. Now, that's not because you're bad people. Not at all. No. It was the greatest day of their parents' lives because their parents finally got their house back. Am I close? Right? These people here are drivers. They're doers. They get things done. Their motto is, just do it. Let's go. Come on. What are we waiting for? We got things to do. This group over here is amazing. Do you see this group is the smallest group over here? We're going to talk about that later, and we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about chiefs and Indians. We're going to talk about leaders and followers. All right? We need this group. They get things done. This group over here, though, there's something they should know. There's actually two things they should know. I want you to listen. There's two things that you should know. There is a God, and it's not you. Everybody here is like, wait a minute, David, tell them that again. They need to hear that last thing again. All right? You folks like to get things done. If I was to talk to one of these folks, if this was one of my mentors, or maybe they were my child, or maybe they were a coworker or a friend, or maybe they're my spouse, this is how I would talk to them. That thing you wanted me to do, I'm on it. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to make sure it's done to satisfaction, to your liking. I'm going to get it done on time. And when I'm done, I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to say, this thing here is done. Is this what you were looking for? What should I be doing next? How does that make you feel? What do you think about that? All right? This group right here, they have a fuel. We all have a fuel. In fact, we've all got an internal engine inside of us. All right? Our engines, these folks over here, the outgoing people, their engine sounds like this. They've got an engine. They're outgoing. The more reserved people, their engine's a little bit different. If they get excited, right. This group over here, though, they have a very specific kind of fuel. You might have a vehicle out in a parking lot that you put unleaded fuel in. Or maybe you drive a truck and you got a diesel. You got to put diesel in that. You might have an electric vehicle, which requires electricity for its fuel, right? Different kinds of fuel. Well, your fuel, this is the fuel, the secret fuel that makes them run. You want to relate to this group? There is something that they need to keep going. If they don't get this fuel, they feel drained, they feel worn out, and things aren't good. The fuel for you folks over here, you like results. You want to see progress. Let's get things going. I want this done. We want to move forward. We need these people because they are the folks that help us get things across the finish line. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. I am grateful for this group because this group helps us find our way. Let's give it up for the dominant type over here. Let's give them a hand. This group over here, these are our outgoing people-related folks that we call our inspiring group. These folks are filled with energy and life, and you are the happiest people in the room. Let's give these folks a hand. They bring life to the party. You remember how I said over here, these folks, the happiest day of their parents' lives was when they left home? These folks over here, when they left home, saddest day of your parents' lives. All the fun left the house. Where did they go? Right? You don't have to find a party. You are the party. This group right here. Now listen, there is something about this group that they need to know. All right? You remember I told you there's a couple things you need to know? Well, this group over here, there is something you need to know. I need you all to look at me. This group, you need to focus. This group over here may have all their marbles, but they left their shooter at home. I'm just curious. How many math or science majors do we have in this group? Can I see a show of hands? Yeah, one, okay. 2, all right. Math, science major, okay, right. Good. 3, all right. I'm just curious, how many of you, whether it was middle school, high school, or college, belonged to a club, you were active in sports, you did extracurriculars? Can I see a show of hands? They didn't go to school to learn. They went to make friends. They like people. This is our people group over here. They do things because your secret fuel, it's different than theirs. Remember, you drive a different kind of vehicle. If you don't get this, if this isn't a part of what you do, you feel drained. There are days you're like, why was today so hard? Your secret fuel is having fun. You want to make it fun. You want to be the life of the party. You want to do it with people. You want to engage. That's your secret fuel. Now, if I went over here and said, hey, let's have some fun. Yeah, you see the reaction? All right? Let's have some fun while getting some results. All right? I see some heads nodding. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better. All right? You like to have fun. Now, listen. If I'm talking to this group, I don't talk to them the same way I talk to them. I want to speak to them in their language. I would say something like this. If I was talking to a coworker or a boss or a subordinate or a friend, a neighbor, a relative, or my spouse, I would talk like this. I'd say, I'm so glad you're here. You know what? Today's going to be a great day. I love spending time with you. You are just one of the best people to be around. Life is just better when I'm with you. Thank you for being my friend. How does that make you feel? Are you resonating? Yeah, I'm speaking their language. Now, I wouldn't talk to you that way because you'd look at me and say, what is the matter with you? Where's that report I asked for? This group over here wants results. This folks over here want to relate. Okay? There's nothing wrong with either of those fuels. That's what they need. That's how I would speak to you. I love spending time with these folks because this is my people. You are my people. I am also an inspiring type. I am an I. Or I relate to you. This is where I reside. Victoria, I'll let her share her story in a little bit. All right. Now, watch what I do here, okay? Watch what I do here. Because these are the outgoing type, I need to do this. Okay, class. We just learned about who you are, so now we're going to learn about 2 other groups. So it was wonderful learning about who you were, and that was awesome. And I know we're getting things done, but I need to keep your attention because we have 2 other groups, and we're going to learn about those groups because we're going to be relating to those folks too, and I need you to focus just for a little bit because we have 2 more groups to learn about. See, I got to keep their attention, right? This group over here. This group over here. These are the reserved people. This is our supportive group. I love this group. You folks are naturally the kindest people in the room. You are servers, you are givers. I'm just curious, how many of you are involved in a profession like nursing or medicine, teaching, firefighting, something of that nature? Could I just see a show of hands? They give. They give. Thank you. You know, some of my best friends are S's. And you have a secret fuel too. And you don't talk about it a lot. In fact, this group is actually rather quiet. We're gonna visit that in a minute. What's that?
I thought you said asses.
Yeah, they're having fun, right? They're over here having fun. Do you know one of the most dangerous things I can do in any kind of crowd is to get all these people together in one spot? And I did it tonight. I know. I'll try to keep them under control. All right. This group over here, your secret fuel, if I want to resonate with this group, there's something that they need, and it's going to be really foreign to you. In fact, you're not even going to really understand what this is. You might a little bit. You'll know the words. This group over here, your secret fuel is peace and harmony. They like to get along. Can't we all just get along? Can't we just all You know what? Is everybody okay? Are you guys good? Is everybody good? You know what? Is that okay? All right. If I were talking to someone in this group, this is how I talk to them. Hey, listen, you're amazing. I am so looking forward to working with you, and I just want you to know that I'm on your team. We're going to get through this together. There's not going to be any conflict. In fact, if something does come up that is a conflict, I'm going to handle it. I'll take care of it. All right, I've got your back. We're going to get through this together. We're on the same team. We're going to get through this. How do you feel about that? Does that give you some assurances, right? Hey, you folks are like, what? let's just get going. Come on, right? It's a different kind of fuel, and that's okay. That's all right. They like appreciation, and they show appreciation very well. This group, this supportive group, you make up the largest segment of society. The servers, the givers. Now listen, you have a blind spot. We all have blind spots. Remember I said, there is a God, and it's not you. Remember I said to them, you need to focus, okay? Your blind spot, you say yes too much. I want you to know that no is an answer. It's an okay answer. Sometimes people will ask things of you because they know you're going to say yes. Could you help with the church bake sale? Hey, the widow is moving, and could you bring your truck on Sunday after church, even though you already had plans that they didn't know about? Yes. No is actually a real answer, and it's okay if you say it. Victoria's going to tell a story about that, about one of her best friends, and it's okay. This group right here, I love this group because they are the kindest-hearted people in a room. Let's give the supportive type a round of applause. We love you. The reserved, task-oriented people we call the cautious type. This group right here, smartest group in the room, right here, right in this corner, right here. I'm curious. How many of you have an education or a background in, say, math, science, computers, accounting, something like that? Can I see a show of hands? Wow. All right. Okay. Look at all the numbers there. All right. How many of you, whether it was middle school, high school, college, graduated with some kind of honors? Right? Look at all. Hey, how many of you graduated at all over here? And I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And you supportive types might be thinking I'm picking on these folks right here. You know what? They're loving it because they're getting all the attention. Oh, he's talking about us again. He's talking about us again. Yeah, talking about us. Yeah. You cautious types, I owe you an apology. As an inspiring person, I had the hardest time relating to you. And you know what? My father is a cautious type, and our son is a cautious type. And I had a lot to learn. We need the cautious type. And when I had them raise their hand about, what is your background, what is your education, a lot of folks go into things like accounting, engineering. They're a pilot, they're an attorney, they're a surgeon, they're a dentist, because they're very precise. Many of you are precise and concise. Your secret fuel is this. Now remember, your secret fuel, getting results, having fun, peace and harmony. Your secret fuel, getting it correct, getting value, and doing things right. Did you hear that? Somebody said amen over there. All right? This group right here, I am so grateful for you. I want to tell you a very brief story about a friend of mine, and he has given me permission to share this story. His name is Brian. Now remember, I'm one of those folks over there. I like to talk. Talking is fun for me. So Brian and I, we get to spend an hour drive out to a man camp that our church holds, and then later we take an hour drive back after the man camp is over for the weekend. And the whole time I'm getting to know Brian. Where'd you grow up, Brian? Oh, how many siblings do you have? How long have you been married to your wife? That's awesome. How many kids do you have now? Oh, where is he and where is she? And the whole time, I know Brian inside and out. Well, then later, we are on the planning committee, Brian and I, for the next man camp. So Brian and I, we drive out, And I'm asking Brian all these questions, and I'm like, well, so where did you and your wife take vacation? Oh, that's awesome. How long? How did you choose that spot? How long did you stay there? I'm talking the whole way out. And we get there, we get to this planning event, and there's a conversation taking place about music. And I like music, I know a lot about music, but these two guys get into this music trivia, and I'm like, wow, I don't know anything compared to these two guys. And I'm standing next to Brian, and I ask one of the guys, I say, hey, Vince, how do you know so much about music? And he goes, oh, I used to be a DJ for 27 years, and everywhere I go, I always have music on in my car, on the radio. I have driven coast to coast, and I listen to radio stations all along the way. And I hear Brian quietly say, almost as if to himself, I could drive coast to coast in complete silence. And I'm standing here, and I'm looking at Vince, but I've heard Brian, and I think to myself, oh no. What have I done to this man? Right? Because I'm a talker. I suddenly realize he's a C. The reason he was answering my questions was because he gives correct answers. I asked him a question, he gave me an answer. I asked him another question, he gave me an answer. Right? He was answering my questions. And I thought, I'm going to try something. This is a true story. We have an hour drive back. I'm going to come stand by these folks. I want you to watch your reaction. We have an hour drive back after our planning event. And I think to myself, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say a word. Look, I don't know if you saw her face over there. You okay? Yeah. I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to sit in that truck in complete silence. I'm going to let Brian drive. It's an hour drive. 30 minutes go by, and we've said nothing. Not a word. And I'm finally that guy, and I pull out my phone, and I start scrolling on my phone. And Brian says, did you see that plane? What? What? A plane just flew across the highway in front of us. Oh, really? And remember, he hasn't asked me a question. And I'm thinking, what do I say? So I said nothing. And we drive 30 more minutes, and he drops me off, and we get out, and I said, thanks, Brian. You're welcome. And I go in the house, and I'm a mess. I'm a mess. I'm like, that was excruciating. When I tell that story and Brian is in the room, I hand him the microphone, and this is all he says. Best road trip ever. That's a C. They're okay with that. C's are thinkers, and we need you. Listen. We need each other. We are better together. Let me tell you something about these groups, all right? I know I said to you, I've asked you 2 questions, all right? And I can tell a lot about you. I can tell you all about yourself, all right? I want you to think in your mind, if I wasn't in this group, in fact, the C's, they had a question in their mind. When I went all the way around the room like this, they had a question in their mind. When I was getting to them, the question in their mind was, they're standing here thinking, did I choose the right group? Because they're thinkers. They like to ponder things, and that's okay, all right? I'm going to ask you another question, though. And I already know the answer. I already know what you're going to say to this question, but I want you to think about it in your head. If you had to choose another group, can't stay in the corner you're in, you had to choose another group. I don't want you to do it yet. Don't do it yet. I want you, I'm going to do it on a count of 3. Don't do it yet, but I want you to think about it. If you had to choose another group and you had to point to it, remember, on this side of the room, we have all the outgoing people, and the reserved people are over here. Over here are our task-oriented people, and over here are our people-oriented people. If you had to choose another group, I'd like you to point to it now, nice and clearly, on 3. 1, 2, 3. And I already know where you're all going to point. Okay, good. All right, so we'll start over here. Those of you in this group, all right, everybody put their hands down. How many of you, I want to see by show of hands, how many of you pointed to the inspirational group over there? Raise your hands. Okay, good. Put your hands down. How many of you pointed to the cautious type? Raise your hands. Okay, put your hands down. How many of you pointed across to the supportive type? Okay, put your hands down. All right. So this group over here, the inspirational folks. How many of you, by show of hands, pointed to the supportive type over here? Look at all those hands. Okay, hands down. How many of you pointed to the dominant type over here? Okay, hands down. How many of you pointed across the room over to the cautious type? Okay, all right. I told you, you're going to see a pattern here. You're going to see a pattern here. All right. You supportive types, by show of hands, how many of you pointed to the cautious type over here? Raise your hands. Okay, hands down. All right. How many of you, by show of hands, pointed to the inspirational types? Right here. Okay, hands down. How many of you pointed over there to the dominant? A lot less. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hands down. All right. Over here. Over here. You cautious types. How many of you, by show of hands, pointed over here to the dominant group? Show of hands. Very good. Hands down. Good. All right. How many of you pointed over here to the supportive type? Okay. There we go. Hands down. And how many of you pointed across the room to the type right over there? Right? Did you see the pattern? Did you see the pattern there?
And these guys are recruiting. Come on over. Join us.
Join us. Come on. Here he comes. Give him a hand. All right. There he goes. Right. I love it. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want you to remember, I'm not putting you in a box. Believe me, I'm not putting you in a box. It's okay. I'm not labeling you. You know what? You can walk out those doors and go, you know what? That is not really who I am. I'm more like this. That's okay. That's all right. Here's the deal. I'm not saying that's your personality. I'm not saying that's who you are. No, I'm just learning a little bit about you. This is a baseline. We're getting a starting point. Because we are learning more about who we are, so we can learn more about who they are, all we need is a starting point. That's all we need. Okay? So we're getting a starting point. It's okay to point to another group. Now, I want you to know something. It is very common in whatever group you're in to point to one of the groups that is right next to you. Typically, if you're a reserve person, you might point to the other reserve type, or a task-oriented person, you might point to the other type. The group next to you is far more likely to be a group that you can relate to. The group across the room is often the group that you have the biggest challenge with. And let me demonstrate. You D-types, you drivers, you doers, you dominators, you champions, all right? Without those folks right there, you wouldn't have any friends. And you folks over here, all right, you supportive types, without them, you wouldn't get anything done. You need them. We need each other, all right? Sometimes that's a conflict. If you're in a relationship like that, if my wife and I were in a relationship and she was a driver, a doer, get things done, a champion, a rock star, getting out there, kicking butt every day, right? And I just wanted to get along, and I didn't want to make any waves, and I didn't want to cause any problems, there might be some tension there. You know what? That's part of being a human being. And once you know more about who you are and who she is, you can start to relate, you understand, you can speak their language. If I was talking to these folks over here, this is the language I would speak. Okay, that thing you wanted me to do, I want to go over it because I want to make sure I get this right. So, if it's okay with you, I'd like to explain it to you, and I'm going to go through each step. And when I'm done, I want you to correct me and make sure that I've gotten things correct. And if I missed anything, I want you to tell me how to do it again. And if it's okay with you, we can then go through it again to make sure that I understood what you were teaching me. And so, because we want to make sure when we do this, it's correct. And anywhere along the way, if you see a way this can be improved or made better, I see a bunch of you nodding, right? Right. This group, they like that. This group over here, I lost them like 2 sentences in. They were like, "Whoa, man, this is exhausting," right? Listen, without those folks over there, you'd never get that book written. You need those folks. They are the ones that keep you on task. They're the ones that have the plan. You know what? The reason you forgot your car keys is because they weren't at the house at the time, because they could have told you exactly where they were, all right? Now, you folks over here in this corner, the cautious types, you need them, because without them, you're not going to have any fun. It's okay to have fun. Yes, being correct and being precise and getting things done and checking things off the list is important. But you know what? You need them every once in a while. You got to get out of the house. You got to go do some fun things, okay? So give it up for the cautious types. Let's hear it for the cautious types. We are going to be covering these more in depth, all right, in the second half. This first half was our baseline. It was a starting point. It was to learn more about who you are, how you think, how you operate. I'm going to just point some things out in this room. If I were talking to these two groups, this is how I would talk. How did you feel about tonight's conference? Versus, what did you think about the conference? See, this group over here, they feel. What did you think? They're relational. This group over here, they like to think about things. Can you see the disconnect? When I'm talking, remember, I belong to this group over here. These are my people. When I would talk to my son, I say, hey, buddy, how'd you feel about your flight today? Remember, he's a helicopter pilot. I asked him, how did you feel? It's fine. It's fine. But if I ask him this, son, tell me what you think about flying. Oh, he thinks a lot about flying. What did you think about today? I don't ask him feeling questions. You folks here, they like feeling questions. It can be challenging, I know, to talk these different languages, okay? But you're going to learn more about that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to dismiss each group back to their table here, all right? But we're going to do it in orderly fashion because I'll tell you why I'm going to do the S group first, not just yet. I want you to imagine that a D, an I, an S, and a C all get into the car to go to lunch. Right? You're at a weekend, you're at a training seminar, and you have three of your friends with you, all get in a car, a D, an I, an S, and a C. And you get in the car, and a question comes up, where are we going to lunch? You know what? They already know, they've already figured it out, and they're driving. They're already in the driver's seat, and they're ready to go. Let's go. They already know where we're going. This group over here is like, hey, there's this place that has a bowling alley, and there's a pool table there. I think we can get pizza, and we can get wings. I think we should go there because it'd be so much fun. Getting back to you. This group over here, they've already got their calculators out, and they're saying, well, it's 12 minutes to get to this destination, so if it's 12 minutes there and 12 minutes back, that only leaves us 36 minutes to have lunch, and the price is there. Let me look them up on Yelp because I think that's this group over here, right? The S's, do you know what the S's, the supportive types, say? Where are we going to lunch? What do you say? Wherever you want. Wherever you want. Whatever you feel like. Did you hear how many people say that? Right? You folks, we love you. You are the kindest-hearted people in the room, so I'm going to let you go back to your table first. Let's give it up for the supportive types, all right? The next group I'm going to let go back are the cautious types because they've already got it figured out. They know the fastest route to their chairs. They know exactly what they're going to do. They got some notes to write down. They got some things to do. Let's give it up for the cautious types. Give them a hand. And we're going to let the driven and dominant types sit down because if I don't let them sit down soon, they may be having words with me. Thank you, driven type. Let's give them a hand. And our inspirational type over here, I saved you for last because you and I are all going out for pizza. Let's go. Go ahead, have a seat, everybody. Thank you. Once you all find your seats again, we've had a very generous couple here in the church donate some door prizes for us. And we have also brought some things. The couple has asked to remain anonymous, so I just want to make sure we thank them. And we also have some other thanks to give. I want you to know, Victoria and I, we were able to spend some time leading up to this conference and then time at lunch today with your pastoral staff. And if you don't go to this church and you're looking for a church home, what an amazing house this is. Your pastors here, they care about you, and they want better for you. They want more for your marriages. They want to see you thrive in life. They are dedicated and they're passionate about that. We are blessed as a couple to have spent time with them. And I just want to publicly acknowledge you and thank you. So Pastors, thank you. I don't know where Dan went, but thank you. Secondly, I want to thank our hosts whose home we're staying in, Doug and Sherry. They could not be here tonight. They were coming here. They had something come up that did not allow them to come, and they're just lovely people. If you do not know Doug and Sherry Houts, they deserve a round of applause just because of the kindness and the giving hearts they have. So I'm just publicly acknowledging and thanking them. And I also want to make sure that we thank the people who have trained us, coached us, mentored us, our church home, the training that we have to be able to bring this to you. There's a whole host of people I can't name, but we're so very appreciative of them. And then, of course, first and foremost, our Lord and Savior Jesus. Without him, we would have no platform to stand on. He has changed and transformed our lives. The marriage he has given us, we are in abundance because of his grace and his mercy and his forgiveness for these broken vessels. So thank you, Lord. We love you and we give you all the thanks.
So we are going to do a drawing. We don't have the basket.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll grab the basket. Victoria, why don't you tell them what prizes we have while I grab the basket?
Okay, so somebody needs to help me make sure I pronounce this correctly. This bakery, Sears? Okay, so we have two $25 gift cards, one to Sears Bakery and one to Farm to Table Ice Cream. Ooh,
and what we're going to do, you should have all, when you checked in, got a raffle ticket. Did everybody get a raffle ticket? Okay, so I'm going to have... Yeah, so it is one per couple. Sorry. If you got two, just don't tell anybody. All right. I'm going to have Pastor Dan draw two numbers, if you would.
Can I draw my own?
You can draw your own. All right. So, and go ahead and draw another ticket. And he's going to call out both of those numbers, and we're going to put to operation what we learned about each other here.
All right, we've got 6540 355.
So come
hey, here we come on up here.
Now you don't get to choose yet. Go ahead and call the other number.
Okay, all right.
Come on down front, though. Come on down front.
Hey, Barry, is this your number? 6540 348. Who got it? Oh, there you are.
Okay, so both of you come down front. Come on down front. So there are two gifts here. Come on down front. Yep, come on. And now, between you two, you need to decide who gets which gift. See, there we go. Okay, all right. So just by their reactions and their interactions. Yes, see, I could tell that right away. He was like, no, you go ahead. See, all right, so. Okay, there we go. Now, do you see how they interact? Thank you, you two. Thank you. All right, we're doing this on purpose. No, don't go away, Pastor Dan. We have.
I was getting ready to go sit down.
Okay, no. We have one more. So, do you see the human interaction and how that worked? You can tell a lot about a person. No, you go first. It's okay. I can tell right away. Oh no, this person. You're a server. You have a servant's heart. You're willing to let. You were in the S group. Yep. See, he was in the S group. I could tell that by the way he responded. Me being in the I group, of course I want to go first. I want to be the star of the show, right? But if I want to connect with him, I say, you know what? I want you to go first. You pick. It's okay. Do you see? That's what we're going to be learning about each other, all right? So, Kathleen, there's no condemnation there. I was just using that as an illustration, all right? So, the next gift.
So we have things called personality assessments. And so these are online assessments that you take a 15-minute, answer questions for 15 minutes, and you're going to be able to get a report that will show you what your levels are at all 4 portions. So for example, over there in the C, I have 3 at, on a scale of 100, I'm a 3 in the C group. okay? But over here in the I group, I got a 98. So you'll learn how they are, and you'll get a whole assessment, a whole report about who you are and how you relate. So what we're going to do is we have 2 adult assessments, we have 2 children's assessment, and we have 2 teenager assessments. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw one number, and that person gets to choose 2.
So when she said there's 2 adults, 2 teens, and 2 children, you can come up and choose 2 of any of those 6. If you want 2 adults, they're yours. If you want a teen and a child, they're yours. You get to pick 2. And the number is?
6540363. Oh, here we go. We got a winner.
All right, give her a hand. Thank you, Pastor. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a 10-minute break, and I believe, are there refreshments of some kind? No, there's not. Okay. We're going to take... That's the I. Remember I said we were going out for pizza? Well, we're not going for pizza yet. We're not going for pizza yet. We're going to take a 10-minute break, get yourself some water, please use the restrooms. Then we're going to come back, and we're going to take what we learned here about ourselves. Remember I promised you, you're going to learn something about yourself. And now we're going to learn how it applies to others. There are rules for engagement in all of this. And we're going to learn about rules of engaging and why it's important to establish those. So let's take a 10-minute break, and we will come back in a little bit. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Well, again, I want to thank all of you. I want to commend you for being here and taking the time to invest in your marriage. You know, people think about, how can I invest and make money, right? How can I build my business? How can I become a better, whatever it is, truck driver, doctor, teacher, whatever? And they will take courses and they will spend money on those things. How often are we investing in ourselves and in our marriage? Really, literally, when you get to the end of your life, I know this is a certainty, your marriage is going to end. We're all going to die someday, right? And when those days are approaching, I've been told that people don't lay on their bed and say, gosh, I wish I'd spent more time at the office. You've heard this. You know, they wish they'd spent more time with family. They wish they'd spent more time connecting. My father's getting older, and I think we're closer together now than we ever have been our whole life because we're both making a real effort at it. So I'm commending you for taking the time. 50 plus years of marriage for a handful of you. You're taking the time to still invest in your marriage. God bless you all right? And again, if you're hanging on by a thread, there is hope here. There is hope here. That exercise I ran you through, I know I gave kind of some silly examples, but you know what? Just open your heart. Just receive it. You are not just a D. You know, that small group of Ds over here, you're going to see what percentage of the population that is in a little bit. You are not just that. No, we all have a blend. I'm not saying you're a D, an I, an S, or a C. What I'm saying is we're having a starting point, and we all have a little bit of everything, even if it's just a small amount. All right? So, Victoria is going to take you through the next exercise. Victoria, tell them what they're going to do.
So this is called the numbers game. And let me tell you, I'm numerically dyslexic, so when I first played this game, I was like, oh, I'm going to suck at this. Oh, my God. It's actually not that hard. If you can count from 1 to 88, you can play this game. All right? Is everybody good with that? All right. So this is going to help you understand strategies and patterns. And so we had asked you all to keep your materials in your bag, and now you may take them out.
Don't open the packet yet.
Don't open it yet. Oh, yes, you can take them out again if you had taken them out earlier. But take them out. Don't open it yet. Please keep it closed. Okay, get your pen. If you have a purple one, they're all brand new. So scribble on it. Make sure that you've got ink going. And what we're going to do is when I tell you, you're going to flip the page, and on that page, you're going to see a box full of numbers from 1 to 88. And you have to go through and find and circle each number consecutively. You'll circle 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Now, if you see 20 and you're looking for 2, you can't circle the 2 out of 20. You have to do them in order, all right? And we're going to give you 60 seconds on the clock to see how many numbers you can circle. Nope, you each have your own, you should have your own packet. Each one.
There's two packets in each of the purple bags.
Yep. Yeah, no working together, that's not fair. Alrighty, are you ready? Yeah, does everyone
And we're going to work on the together part here very shortly. Yes.
Does everyone understand the instructions? Ready, set, go. Okay, you've got 60 seconds. You're going to look for number 1 first. Get it circled. Keep going. They're there. I promise. $40 more seconds. Halfway. Keep going. How high can you get? No peeking over here. 15 more seconds. Come on. Push hard. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. All righty, how did that go? So if you found 15, raise your hand. At least 15. Very good. What about 20? Holding the baby, that's impressive. How about 25? Okay, so 21, 22, 23, 24. So you had 24, ma'am? Okay. Woohoo! Okay, come on up here real quick.
Here, I'll take it out to her.
Okay.
All right.
David's going to give you a band.
Got a bracelet for you.
Yeah. That says, just do the next right thing. So this
And by the way, hey, Victoria, I just want to point out, I recognize this person. Tell us what group you were in.
That one over there.
The D's. She's a D. She's a doer. She's a driver. She's getting things done.
All right. So, how about if I gave you an opportunity to do it over? Would that be better? Would you like to try it again? Okay. How about if I tell you the pattern so that it makes it easier? Would that be good? Okay. So on your paper, look up at the top. Okay? At the top, right here, by number 66. Do you see there's a little tick mark right there? Okay? Draw a line all the way down here to 84. Righty? Everybody got their line drawn? Now, look here between 57 and 79. Do you see a tick mark? Look across between 26 and 80. So, there's a pattern. So, if you see, where's number 1? Top right. Number 2, top left. Top right.
Top left, then now top.
Top right. Number 3, bottom. Right. Now 5. Told you I'm dyslexic. I can't do numbers. 6. Now 7. 8. Do you see the pattern? So 1, 5 are all in that quadrant. Okay? Think of it. D, I, S, C. Each set of numbers are in their own quadrant. So now, what you're going to do, don't start yet, is we're going to have you put X's on all the numbers. So you're going to put an X, not yet, over the number 1, and then over to the number 2. And keep going through all of the numbers that you've gotten, and then keep finding them, and we're going to see how many numbers you get this time. Are you ready?
You have 1 minute. Tell them when to start.
Ready, set, go. "45 more seconds. You're doing good. 30 seconds left. I hope you've gotten further than you were before. We talked about that IQ thing earlier. Yeah, okay. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. Was that just a touch easier? Okay. Now, how many people hit 25?
Look at all the hands in the room now.
How many had at least 30? 35? 40? 45? How many did you have, sir? 47. Anyone higher? 49? Anybody else? 49. Okay, so we had 2. Anybody higher than 49? Okay, so 1, 2.
Did anyone get less the second time around? Don't raise your hand.
Yeah.
Just keep your hand
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Who was our other 49? Right here. Oh, not
Now,
a very good talk.
This bracelet that we're giving out, it says, do the next right thing. We have people come to us sometimes and they'll say, I just don't know what to do, whether it's about a relationship they're in, a conflict they're facing, a problem they're trying to solve. They have a task before them. I am not the smartest guy in the world. I ask her. I am not the smartest guy in the world. But you know what? When we focus on doing the next right thing, chances are we're going to do the next right thing. So that's why we like those bracelets.
So most of you doubled your numbers. Would you agree? With 1 minute of instruction, you doubled your number. Not a week, not a month, not a semester, not a degree. 1 minute. And look at how much easier it was once you understood the pattern. Well, this is the same thing. Understanding D, I, S, and C, once you understand the pattern, relating is so much easier. So, for example, I'm an I, but my secondary trait, I'm a D. So I stay on this outgoing side. But most of the time, when I get under stress, I'm over here, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do, and when you need to do it, and how you need to do it, and you're going to get it done, you're going to get me results, and you're going to get back to me. But when I'm not under stress, I'm over there having fun with those guys. So if you know where your spouse's secondary trait is, that's often where you go when you're stressed. So I'll give you an example. We were down in Cancun, and our flight got moved up and then moved up. And so we thought our last day, we thought we were leaving at 6 o'clock at night, and we ended up leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning. And now we're stressed because we don't have as much time. And we've got to make it to the airport early when neither of us are early birds, all that kind of stuff. Well, my fun-loving husband got really like, we have to go and we have to go now. And he's also, his secondary is a D. And so I knew that he had moved into his D because he was under stress. And so instead of me taking it wrong that he was being a little short or that he was being pushy or demanding or direct, okay, I understood, he's under stress. And we stopped and we prayed.
We're going to talk about what she did, what she just said right now. This is like a secret weapon in our household that she uses very good. She's very well at deploying this weapon. I'm walking through the airport, almost knocking people down, making my way to our gate because we are on a mission. We're going to be late. And she takes my hand, and what do you say?
Hey, sweetie, we're on the same team. Can we pray about this?
What kind of man do you think I'd be if I said, no? It's like, Montana man, there we go.
I'm gonna push through this.
It's like she disarms me in that phrase, can we pray about this? And no matter how agitated I am, no matter how much I want to get things done, yes, go ahead and pray, quickly.
Quickly, because he wanted to make it to our gate.
It's very disarming, okay? And we're going to try to equip you with some of these tools, but what she's demonstrating is, she just said, with 1 minute of instruction, you practically doubled your productivity and you lowered your stress. Because she knows that about me now, she doesn't get stressed out about it. She can address the situation.
So when you did it the first time, your productivity was low and your stress was high. That's why I was like, okay, the numbers are all there. Believe me, they're there. I saw people, checking out their neighbor and searching, and things got very, very serious as you were doing the first game. And then the second time, it was like, yeah, X, oh, yep, yeah, oh, I got that one, yep, oh, I found that one, oh, yeah. You were having fun, and your productivity went up and your stress went down. Wouldn't you like that to happen in your household? Do you think this would apply to your kids? What if you understood how your kids thought and your kids learned, and now you can speak their language? So I was always outgoing, and all my parents wanted me to do is sit down and shut up. But I was an I. So it was really hard for me, but they didn't understand me. Okay? So then I get under stress, and I'm over here, and now I'm the Christmas Hitler. You're going to open this package next, and you're opening this package. So it's something that when you can understand that about yourself and your spouse and your children, the amount of harmony by understanding each other's patterns is so eye-opening. And pretty soon, I bet all of you are thinking, oh yeah, my boss is a D-I-S-C. Or, oh, my sister. So there's always that one relative that rubs you the wrong way. Oh, one? Only one, okay. So you were in my family. Okay, good. All right, but there are other people that you just like, oh my gosh, we're best friends, and you click with.
Why do I get along with this person so well? Or why does this person agitate me too much?
And oftentimes, the people that we struggle with the most are across from us because we're the most distant.
And we're not speaking each other's language. Remember how I talked to you about language? It's so important.
So, did that help? Good.
All right.
Wonderful.
We are going to do another drawing. Pastor Randy, would you mind drawing the numbers this time? So, Victoria, why don't you tell us what the next two are? And again, we're going to draw two. You're going to draw two numbers.
So we have Ranger Joe's Pizza. Do you have good pizza? Oh, I see thumbs up already. There's a $40 gift card for Ranger Joe's. And we have a $40 gift card for Cinemark Theaters. Again, we're going to draw two, and you guys get to decide.
All right. 6540388.
Woohoo! Okay, come on down.
No. Yeah. 6540389.
All right, so 8889, come on down. Come on down. All right. They're discussing. They want to make sure they do things right. All right. So you two need to decide who's getting which certificate.
You can make a game of this.
Excellent. Yes, please. Yeah. All right, thank you. So you see now, they know there's rules of engagement. They talk to each other, right? They're working it through. Thank you so much. Well done, ladies. All right, we're going to draw one more. And Victoria, what is this drawing for?
So the person gets to choose. The first person who got assessments chose the two adults. So we have two children's, and children is defined as 5 to 12, or two teens, 13 to 22. And I know 22 is older than a teen, but sometimes your teens don't have maturity until 22 or later or older sometimes. And so you get to choose two of whichever ones you want.
And by the way, if your number is drawn and you don't have children or teens, all right, think about using it as a gift or look around your table. Think about other people in a church who might benefit from this.
All right, 6540374.
74. Woo! Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Pastor.
These assessments, by the way, as Victoria mentioned, this little exercise we did down here on the floor kind of gave you an idea. When you take an assessment, you get a full breakout of what your personality blend looks like and tools to equip you to engage with others. It can be as detailed as you want to make it. There's different levels of assessment. But in particular, it helped me most. I knew I was kind of the fun-loving person, but it helped me relate with these other groups and how to talk. I slowed down when I'm talking to an S, and I close this, and I open these. That's really important when an S. With a C, they ask a lot of questions. They want to know. They're not attacking me. They're questioning me because they like knowledge. They like to be equipped with all the facts. You see what I'm saying? So the assessments can really help you understand. So, all right.
Wonderful. Are you ready to move on to the next step?
We are. Yes, I am. So now, look in your packets. There's going to be a page that...
I'll show.
All right. So we covered people person, task person, outgoing, and reserved. And it's going to look like this. And we are going to go through this. We're going to help you understand not just who you are, but now we're moving into that second step of personal quotient, improving your personal quotient, how you can relate to and how others relate to you. Okay? This is important. All right.
So, David, you're going to take the D's.
Okay. So, on the D's, there are several words that describe you, and we make this easy for you. They all start with the letter D, as you can see on the slide here. The first one, I've already told you, that group I call the dominant group. If you don't like that word, by the way, because in today's society it has some negative connotations, it doesn't mean that I'm going to dominate you. If you're out of control, that's what it can look like. Use the word driven. But dominant just means you want to control it, you want to own it, you want to operate it, you want to be in charge. That's all it means. So the first word is dominant. And again, if you don't care for that word, you can put the word driven in there. The second word is direct. D's can be very direct. When you talk to them, they just tell you what they're thinking. Sometimes they don't have a filter. It's not personal. Hey, how you doing, buddy? It's great to see you. Did you get that thing done I asked you to get done? They're not being mean. They're just being direct. That's part of who they are.
And did you get that thing done? They're task-oriented, not people-oriented.
Exactly, exactly. Next, they can be demanding. It can seem like they're demanding. And you know what? Some of us need that, all right? So when you're engaging with them, if they seem to be making demands, it's because of the way that they think and they operate and the language they speak and what they value. They value results. Remember, that's their fuel, all right? So if they seem demanding, how can you best meet those demands, all right? Now, we want to be careful about how that's used, but you get the idea.
And there's also in control and out of control of the Holy Spirit. I mean, if you have somebody who's demanding because they're out of control, that's different than someone who the Holy Spirit is controlling them.
Let me give you a great example. I used to say, and she knows this, and I still say this about her, but she understands what I'm about to say. I married a stubborn woman. Now, if you just heard me say that, I married a stubborn woman, you might think I was speaking ill of my wife. On the contrary, I am grateful that I married a woman who stands on her values. She demands quality in our household. She doesn't settle for less when it comes to our spiritual lives, to raising our son. We have one son. We have fostered multiple children. She has high standards. That can be seen as demanding. I said stubborn. But you know what? I'm grateful for that because she's demanding for the right things. She stands on quality, on value, on pursuing excellence. So I'm grateful for that quality in her. The next one we have is decisive. If you ask the D, hey, let's go out for ice cream, they have chocolate or chocolate. They don't even let you finish. They already know what they want. They already know. Walk into Baskin Robbins, oh, the strawberry with this on top. They know what they like. All right, they're very decisive in their thinking, and that's okay.
But if you take an S to Baskin Robbins, you're going to be there a while.
Give yourself some time.
Yeah.
Next, they are determined. And I love that about this personality trait. Tenacity is a word that they understand.
Yep.
When they set their sights on something, they want to get it done. Yep. And they're the ones that when the team starts to fall apart, they will, we're going to talk about this in just a minute, but sometimes you Ds, you lay in bed and you think, I got this done, I got that done, I got that. Lost a few people along the wayside, but you know what? That's collateral damage. We got the job done. All right? Whereas like the I's and the S's, they're like, oh gosh, they're laying in bed and they're thinking, you know, I know we got the job done, but man, we lost so and so quit, and I'm all for getting stuff done. Yay, stuff. But, we left some people behind. Well, that's because the D's are determined, right? It's not personal. They're just very determined people. We need both of those personality styles to make sure that we're all healthy, all better together. And in your marriage, when you understand that about each other, you may be married to a spouse who's very determined. You're going to learn more how to keep that, as Victoria said, that quality in control. Let the Holy Spirit work in your life so that your determination comes out in a positive way. All right, the next word. They're a doer. You heard me say that before. They like to do things. They like to get things done. Now, the last word, it's here in red for a reason, because you Ds, or people that have D tendencies, and remember, our blend, interestingly, this is actually pretty rare, by the way. We are an IDS blend. Those are our three highest attributes. IDS, IDS. That is actually very rare in a marriage. Often, what is far more common is we marry someone who is in an opposite quadrant. They complete me. There's something about them. There's a quality that I admire that I lack in myself. And that's awesome until it isn't. That thing you used to love, I love the way they're so thoughtful and caring. And now today it's like, we need to go. Right? Things can change. We change. But when you understand why you're like this, it helps. So, D's, please pay attention. You can come across as defiant.
Especially if you have a D child. Dobson wrote a book, The Strong-Willed Child. I think he was actually just writing about a D.
Victoria, tell him the story as an ID, as a child, about crossing the line.
Oh, okay. So I was very defiant as a child, and so my parents would set a line, and they didn't do it very often, but when they'd set a line, I'd be like, okay, do something about it. Now, my younger brother did this. He still crossed the line, but just not as defiantly as I did, right? We still went over the line, but just in different ways.
So in your out of controls, D, sometimes you come across as defiant. All right, let's move to the eyes. Go ahead, Victoria.
All righty. So with the eyes, we've already said this, the eyes are the inspiring group. We inspire, we get people worked up, we get them going. We're the ones who plan the parties and come up with the ideas oftentimes. If your kids have a friend that always gets them in trouble, probably an I. If you're a teacher, this is the one that you can't get to sit down and shut up. Okay, we had a chatterbox when I was in fourth grade, Mrs. Dewar. If you got caught talking, you got a check mark, and then you got another, and at 3 check marks, you didn't get recess. So as an I, that was really hard for me because I was always talking.
And just so you know, most public schools, they are not designed for eyes. That's very hard for eyes. To sit still, pay attention, hold still. C's, they love that stuff. Right?
How many C's raised their hands that they graduated with honors?
Yes, they like sitting in the front row. They like learning. An eye is looking out the window at the squirrel. That's what eyes do. All right. So, next one.
Yeah, we eyes have shiny object syndrome. Ooh, it's the next.
SOS, shiny object syndrome.
Okay. So we can be influencing, meaning that we can get other people to come along with us or go along with our ideas. That's why that I friend of your child will oftentimes get them in trouble. Eyes can be very impressionable. They can both impress others and they can be impressed because eyes want to be liked, so they do things to be liked.
I'm gonna tell a quick story here. As an I, when I was a young man, I had somebody dare me to jump off the top of the bleachers in our gymnasium down to the floor. I wanted to be liked, so I did it. Today, I'm in my 50s. I still suffer the consequences occasionally from that foolishness. I was trying to impress people. I shared that story with my son when he was very young, and I used it as an example. Hey, son, listen, there's going to come a time in your life. Now, this is before I knew he was a C. Son, there's going to come a time in your life when you're going to experience something called peer pressure. And people are going to try to get you to do things. They might say things like, oh, chicken, come on, chicken, you can do it, come on. You know, they're going to tease you or torment you to try to get you to do something so that you'll be liked by the crowd. Don't do that. Those aren't real friends. All right? This was his answer. I wouldn't do it anyway, Dad. I didn't think of that, son. Thank you. And to his credit, he didn't. I cannot think of a time when my son succumbed to peer pressure. Conversely, I have a hard time remembering any week of my young adult life as a child or as a young adult where I didn't succumb to peer pressure. Do you see the difference here? So eyes, be cautious. You can be impressionable.
Eyes are very interactive. We love people. We love being in the center. We love being in the limelight. We want to interact. So if you're a woman and an I woman, we not have 40,000 words. We have 80,000 words that we have to get out because we want to interact and be a part of everything. We want to be with people. That's where our battery gets recharged. The next word is impressive. So eyes often will be able to get things done in a very impressive way. They oftentimes are very creative and do things very well.
Okay, eyes, I want all the folks that were over here in this eye group, raise your hand. Keep your hand up if you suffer from procrastination. A lot of hands in the room stayed up, all right? We can be very impressive, man. You put us under the gun, oh my gosh, the deadline's tomorrow, and we get it done. All right.
The next word is involved. Here's the thing with your eyes. We want to be involved in everything, but we don't have very good follow-through. Finishing is a challenge for eyes oftentimes, but we want to be involved in everything. Oh, I can come to your party, and oh, I can do this, and yes. But then we kind of like fizzle out. Sometimes you'll meet an eye, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, so here, put your name in my phone, and let's connect. And you'll never hear from them again in your life. But they have 12,000 contacts in their iPhone. So what is our blind spot as an eye? It is that we can be illogical. Oh, yes, it will work out, and we go on, and we have pie-in-the-sky ideas, but it's not logical, and that plan can't work. So eyes and C's being across from each other oftentimes drive each other a bit nuts because eyes aren't logical, and C's usually are very logical and very detailed.
So for the S's, your primary attributes, or S attributes that starts with the letter S, I mentioned before, the very first one, you're supportive. You are great supporters. You are the folks that we can all count on. You are dependable. I love that about you. You're steady. You show up.
Yeah, always.
You're very consistent in what you do. I love that. They like stability. They're very stable. S's can be a little adverse to change. They like status quo. I thought status quo was the next one. The next one is sweet. They're very sweet people. I mentioned before, they're the kindest people in the room, and they are. There's your status quo. If you really want to agitate an S, throw a bunch of questions at them and introduce a bunch of change. That's hard for an S. You start rapid firing them. You start chattering at them and saying, hey, let's go do this. And hey, you know what? Hey, what'd you do in the 3rd grade? Where are you from? Oh, slow down. You're overwhelming them, okay? Just go slow. Speak softly. All right? Be sweet. They can come across as shy. Now, let me just talk about that word for a minute, okay? I say they can come across as shy. That doesn't mean they are shy. It just means they might be. Hey, I didn't use the word extrovert or introvert. You can be a reserved extrovert. And this may not seem like it, but I am actually rather a reserved extrovert. I belong in the I group, but you get me in a group of I's, and I will be much more of an S than I will an I now. All right? So it might come across as shy. It just means you're a little bit more reserved, and if there's 5 people talking, you'll be the last one. In fact, very quick story. The gentleman who we have mentored under for this, his name is Dr. Robert Rohm, R-O-H-M. And they had a board meeting to resolve some things that they wanted to change, and they took 3 days at this luxury, beautiful golf course, and they spent every one of those days indoors in the boardroom trying to resolve this issue, talking it out. And on their board, they purposely have a very strong D, I, S, and C, 4 board members. And for 3 days, the D, the I, and the C were going round and around about things, round and round. I think we should make this change and this tweak. And it got to day 3, and they're almost at the end of the day, and suddenly Dr. Rohm realized their S member hadn't said anything for 3 days. And they said, well, what do you think we should do? And the room got quiet because they kind of all realized it all at once. They hadn't said anything. And the person said, well, I've been thinking about it, and I think this is what we should do. And everybody's mouth fell open, and they're like, that's the solution. What? That is amazing. We've been going around. When did you come up with that? How did you come up? And he goes, well, I thought of it on Monday, but I didn't want to interrupt you all. And everybody was angry because they're like, we're at this golf course and we're inside. Yeah, S's, don't be so shy. Your opinion matters. Where you want to go to lunch, it counts, it matters. We genuinely want to know, all right? So, the last one, it says sucker, but I don't care for that word. The word I like it's 2 words, hyphenated word, self-sacrificing. S's, I mentioned to you earlier, no is an acceptable answer. Victoria, would you mind sharing the story about Nan?
So I have a very dear friend. Her name is Nan, and she is a 100S. So she is as high as you can go on the S scale. And she's a teacher, and she's steady, and she's stable, and she can't say no. And so when she came through and did the MII class, the Marriage Insights Institute class, the one that's starting here in September that we're going to be teaching but being held here, she learned about herself that, wow, I don't say no, but I have the ability to say no. And one day, her boss, and this is a muscle that had absolutely no strength, all right? One day, her boss called and said, hey, Nan, I really need you to do this for me. And Nan already had plans with her brand new grandbaby, to watch her brand new grandbaby. And she was like, I can't. And her boss was like, okay. Didn't ask for her boss is a D. Didn't ask for an explanation, anything. And the next day, Nan kind of comes into work and is like, was it okay that I said I couldn't do that? And she goes, yeah, absolutely. I just always call you first because you have never told me no. So I know that it's easy, that is, if I need something done, I go to you, you do it, I don't have to call anybody else, it doesn't take me any time, and I know you'll get it done because you'll do whatever it takes because you said yes. Even if it means you self-sacrifice what you had planned.
And what did the boss do after Nan said no?
She called the next person who said yes.
And that person said yes. So you S's, it's okay. All right? Don't be so self-sacrificing that you're giving more of yourself than what you have. Okay? All right, let's move on to the C's.
All righty. So the C's are our cautious type. They want to make sure that they're getting things done right. They think about things a lot. Rodin's The Thinker was a C.
Next.
So C's are very calculating. They go through and determine every single step. And oftentimes C's get stuck in analysis paralysis because until everything is exactly right, they can't move forward. They are very competent. These are some of your most accurate thinkers, some of your most precise employees. Would you like your doctor to be a C or an I? Yeah, how about your dentist? Oh, look, you're going to get some plaque here. Oh, I was drilling. Oh, yeah. No, you want him to be a C, right? Who do you want your lawyer to be? Or your accountant? D probably for a lawyer, but your accountant to C. So you want these super competent people. C's are very conscientious. So they really think about things before they say them. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to say them with the kindness that like an S would say or with the fun that a I would say, but they're very conscientious. Again, very contemplative. They think about everything. If you are talking to a C and you ask them a question and they don't respond, and you ask them a second question, now they don't know, should I answer the first question or the second question? Or do you want me to combine the questions? And now because they haven't answered, you ask them a third question, and now they're even more difficult. So very contemplative. So when you're talking to a C, ask them a question. They're going to make sure that they have it right, and they will give you a very accurate answer. So C's with that are very careful. So they're very cautious and careful in everything that they do. But the blind spot for our C's is that they can be perceived as being cold. They can be perceived as being cold because they're very cautious and calculating. They oftentimes, and they're not feeling aspects, they're thinking aspects. And they sometimes don't share their feelings easily, and so again, can be thought of being very cold.
So we'll move back to the D section, and Victoria's going to cover this. These are the likes of a D.
So D's like to win. Who was our woman over here with the D who won the first round?
The bracelet,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, she got the first bracelet. So D's love to win. They are super competitive. D's like to plan for the future. They're very forward thinking. They are always planning the next thing out. And oftentimes, if you're in a sales position and you're selling to a D, get to your point quickly, and they'll already have made a decision.
Hey, D's, and if you have a D trait in the room, this qualifies for you. When I'm walking with a D, this is what I know. Be brief, be bold, be gone. They don't want to hear a story. They don't want to talk about fishing. They don't want you to ask about their kids or be brief, be bold, be gone. They're already thinking about the next thing. That's a D.
David has a client, and I can always tell when he's on the phone with them because he'll say, yep, on it, and that's it. Because the guy has told him what he needs. David's like, yep, I'm on it. And the guy doesn't even say goodbye. He just hangs up. Because, yeah, ouch, right. And you would think, oh, my goodness, that would hurt, right? But that's who he is.
As an I, that was really hard for me to learn, but that's just how he is. He's moving on to the next thing. He doesn't have time to say goodbye.
Yep.
Other clients, I'll spend 30 minutes on the phone with them and we won't even talk business. Just depends.
Yep. So D's love new ideas. They're always the one thinking about the future. What can we plan? What can we do? They love results. Those D's that were over here, David was saying, would you like to have fun? And there was no expression. Would you like to have fun while getting results? Okay, that would work. Next, they like to be their own boss. D's sometimes struggle with a little bit of submission. And that can be submission not only to their boss, but also to God. And that was an area being a defiant D, because my D is so high, just like my I, that being a defiant D when you're out of control of the Holy Spirit, coming under submission is important. And as a husband and a wife, we first submit to God, and then we submit to each other. As it says, submit one to the other. And so that's an area where D's sometimes struggle. D's like to move fast. D's talk quick, they move quick, they make decisions fast. Everything is fast with a D. So it's always hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And if you are slow, they can be very impatient. But D's love a challenge. If you've got a problem, throw it the D's way, and they will figure out a solution.
If you tell a D, I don't think we can do that. Oh, really? Okay. Move out of the way. All right. D's like a challenge. All right, you I's, what do you like? I's like to be liked. We like to be liked. Right? When someone doesn't like us, that's hard for us. We like to express our ideas and our feelings. It's okay to talk about those things. Hey, I got this great idea. You know, what do you feel about doing this? That's just something we do. I like being in front of a group. This is not uncomfortable with me. This right here. I got to tell you a quick story. In our church, we have small groups. I know you have small groups here. And by the way, I loved having this discussion with Pastor Dan and Pastor Randy about your small groups. You are so fortunate. Your church is growing at a rate where it's becoming very difficult for your pastoral staff to know every face that comes through the door. It's probably becoming difficult for you. You might go to the first, second, or third service. You're like, who is that? I've never seen them before. Your church is becoming large enough, which is a good problem to have, that it's difficult to have relational connectivity with everybody. That's a wonderful problem to have. You know the solution? Small groups. Getting to know each other, building intimacy is a handful of couples, right? So, we have small groups at our church. This new gal comes to a small group one day, and I had just gone through some disc training, and I was sharing what I had learned. And she's listening, and she goes, so do you mean to tell me you can tell me about myself just from a couple of questions? And I said, yes, I can. So I asked her the two questions. Are you more outgoing, more reserved? She's reserved. I said, do you consider yourself more of a people person or more of a task? You know, I'm very task-oriented. I like to get things done. I said, okay. And she goes, so what can you tell me about me? And I said, I can tell you, I can make you uncomfortable in one sentence. And she was like, oh, really? Now remember, she's brand new to the small group. There's a dozen of us here that have been doing life together for a while. I know everybody's name. She's the new person. I said, absolutely I can. And I'm just going to call her Mary. Right? And she goes, okay, go ahead, make me uncomfortable. I said, sure. Hey, Mary, would you mind standing up and opening the group in prayer for us, please? Everybody else, bow your head. She's a C. You want to make a C uncomfortable? Hey, you C's, come on up here on the stage and do some karaoke with me. Come on. All you C's. That's how you make a C uncomfortable. Us I's? Sure. I don't even sing, but I'll do karaoke. Yeah. All right, we like being in front of a group. All right. We're okay with surprises. Surprises are like fun. Oh, wow, surprise birthday party, surprise whatever. Surprises are okay. We like lots of activities. We've got lots of hobbies. We might not be good at any of them, but by golly, we got lots of things to do. We like activities. All right. and we like recognition. All right? Now, any one of these taken to an extreme can be unhealthy. So what we want you to do is operate in a healthy manner. And I hope this is helping you understand your spouse more. Okay. Victoria, the S's?
Wonderful. I get to go to the S's, which is one of my favorite groups. I have to tell you, some of my best friends are S's, and your ability to listen and hear and be there. And I can't tell you how many texts I get, because so many people are praying for you guys right now, of, I'm praying for you all. I'm praying that everybody's connecting and that everybody made it and everyone's safe. I just love the S group. S's like to be accepted. I mean, it's really important that with an S that you let them know that they are liked and they're accepted and that they're part of the group. They're part of the family. They like to work in a team. And they are oftentimes some of your hardest workers in that team. Your eyes are the ones who, we were like, oh yeah, we'll be on that team, and we never did anything. They also like cooperation. They're very big on working together to get a goal or a project done. They like sticking with what works. Don't change up things on your S's. If you have an S child, get them into a routine, let them know what's happening, and then help them do that over and over again. It will really help them to know what to expect. S's like harmony. One of the worst things for an S is conflict. That's where they're like, I used to teach, I used to be an interpreter, and so the sign for whatever looks like this. Yeah. One way or the other doesn't matter, okay? And so with that, they like, whatever. They like harmony. They like things to be peaceful and quiet. Yes, a table of eyes. Yes, I know. Okay. But mostly they like appreciation. So I was in the hospital recently, and I asked the nurse, I said, how can I be the best patient for you? She said, be nice and appreciate what I do for you. What group do you think she was in? She was an S. Okay? Be nice and appreciate me.
And we missed one there. They like things to say the same. Change is difficult. It can be difficult for S's. So, yeah. All right. C's, cautious type. They like to be right. Being right is important. It's important to them. They like to know what is expected. So, what do you think, if they like to know what's expected, there's an attribute about the eyes I just covered that they don't like. Surprise. C's don't really care for surprises. Hey, surprise party. I didn't expect that. That's challenging for C's. Okay? Understanding that about them can help. They like an established pattern. And they like clear instructions. You want to frustrate them? Don't give them instructions, or just give them vague instructions. Yeah, could you do that thing I asked you to do? What are you talking about? You need to be clear.
And very precise.
Very brief example. I told you our son is pilot. We get to talk to him every once in a while. When he's going through pilot school one day, we got a chance to talk to him, and I said, son, remember, he's a C, so I know how to talk to him. I said, son, tell us what you're working on this week. And his response was, I'm studying 5s and 9s. 5s and 9s. And we're on the phone together with him, and Victoria says, out loud, what are 5s
What are 5s and 9s?
What are 5s and 9s? And I made the mistake of saying, Victoria, I know he's in his own head right now, right? So I just say, Victoria, it's probably just section 5, section 9 of the manuals. And he goes, Dad. It is subparagraph 5, subsection 9 of the regulations on flight aviation. And I wasn't accurate. I said, section 5, whatever. No, he was like, Dad, this is what it is. Like, we don't really care, but okay. But to him, this was important. And now that we understand that better, we just roll with it. And I say, thank you for letting me know that, son. I appreciate your accuracy. Thank you for being so precise. I'm okay with it now. C's like to finish what they started, and they like organizing things.
So a really easy way to figure out if you're dealing with a C is their garage might have black totes that are all labeled outside and alphabetized. Okay, we have a friend here in Kalispell who everything in his garage is in totes and alphabetized with labels.
You want wood screws? He has a bin for wood screws, alphabetized. Oh, you need zip ties? Oh, they're down here in the Z's. Oh, okay. You need pliers? Oh, that's here in the drawer that's labeled P for pliers. This is a real story. This is a friend of ours right here in Kalispell. Love that about him. I go into my garage and I got like bins of stuff. I don't know, it's in here somewhere.
It's in here somewhere, yeah.
Right. Let's move on to the next section. All right, everybody tracking so far with what we're doing? Okay. No, you're going to stay on the same page. You're going to stay on the same page. What we're going to cover now is we're going to go over some secret tips. These are tips to help you better understand each of these quadrants, all right? So, the first one is, secret tip for a D, before you can be in authority, you must be under authority. Victoria just made reference to that. She used the word submission, but authority, the Bible has a lot to say about that. If you want to be a good leader, you got to be a good follower. That's biblical, all right? If you want to be in authority, you must be under authority.
So the secret tip for the I is it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice.
So I's, remember that, be nice to people. S's, your secret tip, you may actually help people by saying no. If you take everything on, you're not letting them do it. So S's, again, and I know we've said this multiple times, but sometimes S's really need to digest this. They need to hear it multiple times. It's okay to say no.
And sometimes by saying yes, you're stealing someone else's blessing. Mm-hmm. So there are times when someone else was supposed to step up and do that. And when you step in and say yes, and then feel resentment on the backside, then you're not serving the way God wants you to serve.
And a secret tip for C's?
Secret tip for C's is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
This can be a challenging one for C's. Yes, we love your accuracy and preciseness, but you know what? Caring about people is important too. So just remember that, you strong C's. Okay. Now, we want to talk about the percentages of the population. All right, remember, this group over here was pretty small. And that's by design. That's about 10% of the population. Right? I mean, think about it. If we had a room full of D's, all right, who's going to serve? Who's going to take care of the, greeting people in the lobby? Who's on your parking team? Who's going to set up the chairs? D's don't want to bother with that stuff. They want to get things done. They're moving forward. All right? The D's are typically those folks out there leading the charge. Okay, not always, but it's about 10% of the population. I think if it was any more, you'd have too many cooks in the kitchen. That's the phrase that is used. And there's a symbol that goes with that, and that's the exclamation point. The exclamation point, because just get it done. Go! I release you. Awesome. We'll see you tomorrow. I mean, they want to get things done.
So the I's are about 25 to 30%, give or take. And theirs is the star, because they want to be the star of the show. They are up front, give me the shiny star. It's all about the recognition.
Gold star in school for doing well, a Hollywood star, a lot of eyes, a lot of actors and actresses, their eyes. Your S's, It's about 30 to 35% of the population, give or take. And their symbol is the plus or minus sign because Victoria was a professional sign language interpreter in college. It's how she helped put herself through college. And there is a sign for whatever. That's the sign for whatever. Well, I couldn't find that sign on my keyboard, so we had to use the plus minus sign because give or take, whatever, and S is okay with that. That's why we use the plus minus sign. So about 30 to 35% of the population. And the C's, Victoria?
The C's are 20 to 25%, and their symbol is the question mark. They ask questions. They want to know every detail. Now, you would think that when your child learns the word why, that they're all C's. Why? Well, they grow out of that, but some of them don't, and they remain C's, okay?
So these are give or take percentages, but I want you to notice something. On this, over here, on this side, the task-oriented side, this is about a third of the population. About a third of the people in any given room are probably going to be a D or a C, and about 2/3 of the people are going to be an I or an S. That's important when you're talking to a crowd. That's important when you're talking to people. At any given table, that will be a typical blend of what that looks like. Does that make sense? Now, interestingly, the only group right now, if you went with the higher percentages, is the C group, where there's the 25%. And the C's have already done this, so they already know this. If I add up 10 and 30 and 35 and 25, that equals 100%. Yep, I see this, somebody laughing and nodding, right? And the C is thinking to myself, well, there's a quadrant here, and technically a quadrant is only 25% of the room, so we're the best group in the room, right? That's what C's are thinking, all right? So just a little bit extra there for you on the C's. Okay, we are nearing the end of our time with you, but our last bit here, we're going to do a raffle, but and then we're going to go through the last page, which is 10 truths that we have learned about marriage, all right? And we're excited about this part because these are impactful. And we're ending with that most impactful portion of tonight because we want you to walk out of here better than you came in. But first, we're going to do another raffle. And let's see. Is Shelby in the room? Yep, there's Shelby. Shelby, come on up here. We were able to spend a little time together today with Shelby and just had an amazing connection. Thank you for doing what you do. And we're going to draw three. And this time there's not going to be, okay, let's draw two. We're going to draw the two to start with. So go ahead and step over left.
Okay. So
come on up.
A $40 gift card to Mini Mountain Mini Golf, or a $50 gift card to the Himalayan Kitchen.
And the numbers are
6540354.
Who's that?
Christy.
Oh, our Heidi. Okay.
Okay. And then 6540385.
And who is that?
Okay.
No.
So we have, was it two people from the same table?
Yeah.
All right. So they have to choose between the two of them who's getting what.
Okay. Wonderful.
Okay, so I have a question. Wait, before you leave. You probably couldn't hear this exchange.
Sorry.
That's okay. No. Right. If it's okay, I'm not looking to put anybody on the spot. Remember, I'm not pigeonholing people. I'm just observing. Now, I already know Christy's a D. I remember that, okay? I don't remember what you are, but were you in the Ds? Yeah. Okay, all right. I wouldn't have guessed that by your interaction, but see, you had two Ds here trying to decide. So they were asking each other questions, which one do you like? Well, and she went, really? Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, and I could tell. I was like, all right. So I'm just observing. I'm just learning by asking questions and observing. Thank you so much. Give them a hand. All right. We're going to have you draw one more. And Victoria?
Okay. So we have a parenting class that we're going to be doing. So if you have children and want to learn more about this and how to apply this to them, it's a Zoom class that we're doing October 8th from 8:30 to 11:30 Mountain Standard Time. And so it's a $45 value certificate. So whoever gets this gets to go to the class for free.
And if your number is drawn and you don't have kids or it doesn't apply to you, it'd be a great gift in here for someone you know that does have kids.
Yeah. And even if you're grandparents, this is amazing. We've had grandparents go through this class, and how they're handling their kids and then their grandkids. They said they wish they had had it earlier.
And the number is?
6540376.
76.
76. Yeah. I see some. There we go, in the back. All right.
Very
Give him a hand.
good.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Shelby.
You're not in a situation to take it. So do you want us to just draw another number? Sure. Okay.
Okay, we're going to draw another number. Ma'am, I'm going to have you draw the number.
Oh, no,
Shelby's got it. Shelby's got it. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
6540375.
375.
Right here.
There we go.
Good. And we know he's got a little one. There we go. Thank
All
you,
right.
Shelby.
Let's move to the last page, and we're going to go through these semi-quickly. We're not going to dwell here, but these for us. Now remember, this is us. We're just talking about us and our marriage, but I believe these are going to apply to you too. And the part where I said I want you to open your heart, I really want you to pay attention to this. So, love is a choice. It is not just a feeling. The Bible has a lot to say about this. It calls us to love sometimes when we don't even feel like it. Love thy neighbor. Really? That guy? Really? This woman, Lord? After what she did or what she said or how she behaved or how she made me feel? Yes. Yes. Jesus hung on the cross and still loved. If he can do that, I can do this. And so can you. Love is a choice. Sorry, this might be a little heavy, but this is important. Somebody in this room needs to hear this. Feelings ebb and flow, but choosing to love, especially when it's hard, is what keeps bonds strong. Our pastor that married us told us this: anybody can get together and have a good time. I'm an older man now, but if I went out on the basketball court you all have over here, and there was 5 other guys there, and I walked onto the court making 6, and said, hey, you guys want to play some 3-on-3? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. And we got shirts and skins. We're playing basketball, giving each other high five, chest bumps. We're like best buddies, right? It's easy to do that. But when you're walking into your house and you say, how was your day?
Oh, let me tell you.
I don't want to hear that. I'm tired too. Love is a choice. Getting through things that are hard makes stronger bonds. Those guys I played basketball with, they're not going to be there for me. She is going to be there for me. Getting through that adversity will make strong bonds. Number 2, Victoria.
Communication isn't just talking, it's listening to understand. So often, our spouse or someone else is talking, and we're already contemplating in our mind what our answer is going to be. We need to be listening to actually understand what they're saying. And if we don't understand, we need to ask more questions. Real connection comes when we stop defending and start listening with humility and curiosity. You know, everybody grew up in a family, whether it was a number 10 family, yay, it was amazing, or it was a number 1 family, not so great, right? I came probably in the lower half, and so for me, I was very defensive about everything that I did. And so I had to learn this, and David had to learn how to communicate to me so that I could hear. But it was something that in me I had to grow to be able to listen and not get defensive.
One of the best things you can do to help your listening, and it took me a while to learn this. I'm a former IT guy, so the computer is my life. She'll come into my office and she'll start talking to me, I will purposefully take my hands off of my keyboard, off of my mouse, and I will turn my chair and I will look at her. When I have this eye contact and I'm not doing whatever, she knows I'm listening. So, listening is important. Number 3, respect matters as much as love. Now, there's a phenomenal book out there called Love and Respect, wonderful Bible study, wonderful marriage study, all right? And it talks about how women need love, men need respect. Very true. But you know what? Men, women need respect too. They do. I respect my wife. She is my partner. We do life together. If I want to do something, if somebody from church says, hey, can you come help with whatever, or would you lead this, whatever, I'll say, you know what? I would love to do that. I need to check with Victoria. I have so much respect for her. I value her time more than yours. Sorry, I don't mean to hurt your feeling, Pastor, but if you ask me to help with something, I would love to do that, but I respect her enough to check with her. Number 4, Victoria.
We're on the same team, always. It doesn't matter what's going on. We're on the same team. We're going the same direction. We're working together. And when we can put that focus back in and say, he's not doing this against me, okay? So if we assume the best instead of always assuming the worst, and remember that we're on the same team, we can move forward together. No team gets across the goal line unless they're working together.
Number 5, forgiveness isn't optional. This one was hard for me. I'm telling you, this was hard for me. And men, I need your eyeballs on me right now, because I think this is part of why men suffer from so much loneliness. Men, I'm telling you, forgiveness isn't optional. That includes forgiving yourself. I always applied it to other people, but it applies to you too. Jesus hung on the cross for all sin, including yours. Forgiveness isn't optional.
And when you don't accept his forgiveness, you're saying your death wasn't enough for my sin.
And when it comes to your spouse, you know what? Jesus forgave your spouse too. He bled for your spouse. Forgiveness isn't optional.
And that resentment, holding on to unforgiveness, builds resentment, and that blocks intimacy. And that's the last thing we want to do in our marriages, is block intimacy.
Number 6, Victoria.
You both keep changing, and that's okay. We are not the same that we were yesterday, and we're not the same as we're going to be tomorrow. And so it's something that when we change and when we grow, and that's why I'm so proud of all of you for being here to learn and to grow and to continue to move forward. That's a good, healthy change.
Number 7, little things done, and somebody mentioned this before, daily matter most. You cannot build things of greatness instantly. All right? Eyes, I need you to hear that, all right? Us procrastinators. You want to build things of greatness? It takes telling your spouse, I love you every day. It takes doing the small things every day. Just, if you can do those small things, whether it's investing in finance or loving on your kids or being kind to your spouse, loving on your neighbors, saying hi to the garbage man, smiling in the grocery store, they compound. They compound. And I'm telling you, you can change your neighborhood. You can change your environment when it starts right here. Show those small kindnesses on a consistent basis.
So often we tell our kids, say please, say thank you. But as spouses, do we do that to each other? And that's something that we can fall out of habit of being kind to the people who we say we love the most.
And I'm just going to interject this one here. one of the smallest kindnesses that you can say is some form of, I'm sorry. And that can be those words, I'm sorry, but it could also be the words, you know, you might be right. It's okay to admit you're wrong. So, kindnesses add up. Number 8.
Vulnerability is strength. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to let your walls down. But when you do, you can have healing. So my life verse is God is the God of all comfort who comforts us as we go through things so that we can comfort others with the same comfort that we've received. Now that's a Vic paraphrase. So I have a tendency that if I have gone through something, I'm willing to be transparent. I'm willing to be vulnerable and share my mistakes or what I've gone through. Because if it helps you to get through it faster or easier, everything I went through is worth it. Because if it makes a difference, it's worth it. And so often we keep up our shields, we hide our shame, we hide what's happened, even from the people that how many of you, don't raise your hands, got in a fight on the way or on a fight today before you got here? Okay? Most people have had some kind of spat today because the enemy doesn't want you here. Okay? But as soon as you close the door and you're walking in and you see all your friends, oh, yeah, we're good. Yeah, no, we didn't just have a huge fight in the car. No, we didn't have a fight on the way getting here. No. Being vulnerable and allowing people in will give you amazing health and intimacy because this is the person who wants the biggest win for you.
And this is the last time I'm going to actually ask you men to really listen to me, okay? This one is challenging for many men. Vulnerability, often for us, equals weakness. That's a lie from the enemy.
Yep.
Now listen, you need to be appropriate in your vulnerability. Don't just say to the guy next to you who just met tonight, oh my gosh, let me tell you my whole life story. That's not what I'm talking about. That relational capital you build in a small group, all right, using the rules of engagement, learning about each other, learning to build trust. Once you've established that trust and you can start to open up to somebody and be real with them, those are the numbers you start to put in your phone where you say, hey brother, I'm going through some stuff. Would you mind meeting me for coffee? There's something I need to talk about that I haven't confessed to anybody. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. We could spend a long time on that. But I'm telling you, men, we need each other. I need you. I need you. I need you. We need each other, men. And honestly, we're not going to do a very good job of it until we learn how to get vulnerable with each other. So that's the last time I'm going to address you personally and that deeply, but I'm very passionate about that. Let's move to the next one. Number 9. Conflict isn't the enemy. Devil would have us think that. Conflict isn't the enemy. Disconnection is. You know what? Conflict is a part of life. We go through conflict every day. If you don't believe me, just go drive the highway out here. Right? Such good Christians we are, and then we get in our 2,000-pound rage machines, and it's like, that guy cut me off, right? Conflict is a part of life, all right? How we deal with it, we don't want to disconnect from each other, okay? We're going to experience conflict. We know that. We know that. We need to stay connected.
And doing that repair work is so important. So even if right now you feel very disconnected from your spouse, don't give up. It only takes one of you to change. So do it. Pick you to be the change.
Number 10.
Pray for yourself and pray for your spouse. Prayer can change everything. And if your spouse won't pray with you, pray with yourself and pray for your spouse. And it is when you're communicating with God and asking him to really seek your heart and to seek his and to really lift your spouse up, it changes.
I'm going to share with you one of the favorite prayers I ever heard. We heard it at the very first marriage conference we went to almost 3 decades ago with Family Life Today in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And Pastor Carl from Alaska, big, tall, red-headed dude, he got up there and he goes, and he was talking to us men, and he goes, you know what? A lot of us men don't know how to pray. We think we ought to be holier than thou. Man, I'm telling you, if you pray from your heart and you say something like, Lord, I don't know what to do today. I need you. Your wife will weep. Pray for yourself. Pray for your spouse. I've never forgotten that prayer. I probably prayed that prayer more than any other prayer that I've ever memorized. Lord, don't know what to do today. I need you. It matters. It helps. You know, what we've gone through tonight, take you back to the PQ. We learned a little bit about ourselves. We learned a little bit about each other. If you don't understand someone, you will misunderstand them. Does that make sense? And what we're trying to do is build that connectivity. What we want for you is we want for you to win. We want you to win in your marriage. So we want to equip you. This church believes in marriage. Your pastor, Pastor Paul, got to spend some time with him today. Love that man. He believes in marriage. This is what you have to look forward to. The next 5 weeks, he's going to be spending Sundays talking about marriage and what that means biblically. He's going to be walking you through that. In addition to that, and some of you are already aware of this, the church already has a QR code where you can sign up for a marriage class. Now listen, we happen to be teaching this class via Zoom, but two of the members who go to this church, Doug and Sherry Houts, have been through this class with us twice, and they are going to be helping facilitate that right here at your church, doing it via Zoom. And so the church is serious about investing in your marriage. I want to thank all of you for your time tonight. It has been a blessing being here. Thank you for having us. Lord, I thank you for this house. I pray for the people here. I pray for the marriages here. May every one of them be blessed, every one of them changed. Lord, may we go out of here better people than in which we arrived. We love you, Jesus. Thank you for dying on the cross for each of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. You have one more gift to give away.
Oh, yes. One last gift, very quickly. And this one, Victoria, tell them about it.
So this is for a single consultation and a standard adult assessment. So that's where you take the assessment, and then you get to spend an hour with us as we actually go through and help you apply it and really understand this assessment and how you can utilize it. And so that is going to go to...
I'm not going to bother with the first word. 368.
368.
368. Has 368 left the room? That may have been those folks.
He won one.
All right, we're going to draw one more.
392.
392. There we go. All right, let's give them a hand. Bless you guys. We'll be out in the lobby if you want to visit. Thank you for your time tonight.